There is a rule in nature. Every species takes what it needs to survive. A wolf kills a deer, a shark takes a seal, a hawk takes a mouse. The predator feeds, the balance holds, and the system continues exactly as it always has. For 4 billion years, that rule worked without exception. Every species played its role. Every species stayed within its limits. And then something showed up that didn't follow the rule. Something that didn't just take what it needed. Something that remade entire continents. Something that caused other species to vanish not by accident, not by instinct, but by decision. And the terrifying part isn't that it happened. The terrifying part is how fast it happened, and that the species responsible is us. Let's start with a number. 50,000 years ago, there were 57 species of mega-herbivores on this planet. Giant animals, woolly mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths the size of elephants, woolly rhinos, enormous creatures that had survived ice ages, volcanic winters, and every climate shift the planet had thrown at them for millions of years. Today, the number of mega-herbivore species is 9, 57 down to 9. That collapse happened in one geological blink, and researchers from universities in Exeter, Cambridge, and across the world ran thousands of statistical scenarios trying to explain it. Climate change, ice ages, natural cycles. None of the scenarios produced that collapse until they added one variable: humans. Every single megafauna extinction in the fossil record lines up with the same event. The moment humans arrived, and here's what made us so effective, so quietly catastrophic. We didn't look dangerous. We weren't the biggest animal on the plain. We weren't the fastest. A woolly mammoth stood 11 feet tall and weighed 6 tons. It had survived for 5 million years. It had no evolutionary reason to fear a creature that stood 5.5 feet tall and carried a sharpened stick. That was the mistake. Because what that creature carried in its head was something the mammoth had never encountered. A plan, not just instinct, not just hunger. A coordinated, communicated, pre-decided plan for how to move, where to position, how to cut off every escape route before the animal even started running. Archaeologists have found trap systems, entire landscapes modified by early humans to funnel large animals toward cliffs and killing grounds. The mammoth wasn't just hunted, it was outsmarted by something 3% of its size, and when the big animals were gone, we didn't stop, we adapted, we always adapt. 12,000 years ago, humans invented agriculture, and that single shift changed the planet more than any event since the last mass extinction. We didn't just harvest what the land offered, we cleared it, burned it, reshaped it, rerouted rivers, drained wetlands. Within a few thousand years of that decision, half of the Earth's forests were gone. Not from climate, not from natural disaster, from choice, from planning, from the same brain that brought down the mammoth looking at a forest and deciding it could become a field. Every other predator in history was limited by biology. A wolf needs a certain territory, a shark needs an ocean, a lion is constrained by what its body can sustain. Humans removed their biological constraints one by one. We built boats and crossed oceans. Every time we reached a new landmass, the same pattern repeated. Humans arrived, megafauna vanished. New Zealand, Madagascar, Australia, the Americas. Scientists call it the overkill hypothesis. The pattern is so consistent, so global, so perfectly timed to human arrival on each continent that it's difficult to call it coincidence anymore. We weren't invasive, we were systematic, and then we accelerated. 200 years ago, there were roughly 1 billion people on this planet. Today, there are 8 billion. And those 8 billion humans use more energy, clear more land, and produce more waste than every other species in Earth's history combined. The current extinction rate is now between 100 and 1,000 times faster than the natural background rate. Scientists have a name for it: the sixth mass extinction. The previous 5 were caused by asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, and shifts in the planet's core systems. This one is being caused by a single species, one that has been here in its current form for roughly 300,000 years. That is less than 0.1% of the time life has existed on Earth. Here is what that means in real terms. Right now, 1 million animal and plant species are threatened with extinction. Not in 1,000 years, in the coming decades. 40% of all amphibian species, a third of all reef-forming corals, a third of all marine mammals. The web of life that took 4 billion years to build is unraveling inside a single human lifetime. And the speed of it is the part that shouldn't be possible. Nature doesn't move this fast. Nothing moves this fast, except us. But here is the part of the story that most people miss. The same species causing this damage is also the only species on the planet aware that it's happening. The same brain that cleared the forest invented the satellite that maps the forest loss in real time. The same intelligence that hunted the mammoth to extinction is now mapping mammoth DNA and debating whether to bring it back. No other species in 4 billion years of life on this planet has ever looked at the damage it was causing and asked whether it should stop. No wolf has ever held a conservation summit. No shark has ever passed an Endangered Species Act. We are the most dangerous species that has ever existed. The evidence is not debatable. The fossils confirm it. The satellites confirm it. The data confirms it. But we are also the only species that has ever had the capacity to decide what kind of dangerous we want to be. The animal that remade the planet didn't do it with claws or venom or speed, it did it with decisions, which means the most important thing about us isn't what we've already done, it's what we decide next.